biggest challenge. Biggest challenge. Digitize 50 million credentials. I need to be very, very sure that this is gonna work. So I lied to them. I had no idea about how to give an interview, like a job interview. Key to becoming an expert is the ability to unlearn and learn.
They say building a startup is hard, but scaling it globally is an entirely different challenge. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Shefta Khan, and you're watching another episode of Storymakers. Today, we are joined by someone who just doesn't build companies, but he's building an ecosystem. Our guest is a serial entrepreneur and a growth operator who has helped scale platforms like EduChain and not alone. So please put your hands together in welcoming Mr. Ankit Raj today. Hello and welcome, sir.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here and to talk about what I'm building.
Yeah, first of all, welcome, and it feels an immense pleasure to have you with us on our today's show because there are so many young entrepreneurs who are watching this episode, who watch our shows in general, and they would want some keynote experiences from founders and from entrepreneurs. So let's start with our very first question, which I'm very excited about. How did you move into your entrepreneurial journey?
This is a story that I love telling people.
And we all have been waiting for.
So I grew up in Bihar,
Yeah.
and I was very good in studies, and I wanted to go into IITs and do my computer science. I was always curious about technology in general. I was the kid in my house who would open up all kinds of electronic items from television to whatever I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to Kota when I was 15 years old. I prepared for IITs, but I couldn't get in.
Uh-oh.
So I then decided, and I was so hell bent to go into IIT and do my computer science from there, that I lied to my parents and friends for 1 year because I had one more attempt left at getting into NITs. So I lied to them that I'm taking admission in a college in Bangalore, and I instead moved to Jaipur to again give my third attempt at getting into NITs. Again, I couldn't get in, and then I figured out that I've been trying to do this for a while, and this was not exciting anymore.
Yeah.
And if I go to a normal college, I would still be making
The same amount of
the same
money.
amount of money if I start working right now. And in 4 years, I was sure of my capabilities, or I would say I was just overconfident that that I will be able to make it. So hence, I ended up moving to Bangalore, and I was looking for jobs in Bangalore. It was a big struggle. I landed my first job at a call center. I am kidding you not. I had no idea about how to give an interview, like
Oh
a
my
job interview.
goodness.
So my first interview experience was that I went to interview with Flipkart. All know Flipkart.
Yeah, of course.
And I was in the interview room full of 50 people. Everyone was wearing formals. I
Yeah.
was in a jeans and t-shirt, right? I had no idea.
Oh my
Um,
wonder.
so I learned from that experience and then tried improving. I landed a job in call center, but I wanted to do more. So I ended up doing freelancing on Upwork, Fiverr, all the online platforms. And through my work of website designing, graphic designing, content writing, I got into startups in Bangalore very early
Oh, that's beautiful.
when the startup scene was growing, and my journey took off from there.
Beautiful. I would rather say that was a leap of faith that you have taken after lying so many times, multiple times to your parents. But इससे मुझे एक ही चीज समझ आती है. It always says believe in the God's plan. Yeah, there's no plan as such that we define and we think it's gonna work like that. It never works like that ever. So you should always work hard, believe in your dreams, believe in your capabilities, and just he's sitting right there up and managing everything. So that's how things have worked out for you, and you're sitting here, like you just mentioned, Abhi, that you didn't know how to give an interview, and today you must be sitting with 1,000 people in your company and taking interviews, right? So it
Yeah.
must have been like a full circle moment for you.
Yeah, I mean, it has been that life has come full circle.
Ah,
And through my struggling years, like I was getting like, so frustrated with like just lying to
I
my
see.
parents, right?
I see. I see.
And it was a huge relief when I actually told them my reality that, okay, I didn't go to college, I did all of this, right? It was a shock to them, of course. They're
Of
still in
course.
shock.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years now, but they're still in shock. Uh, but yeah, I think you have to believe in God's plan,
Of course.
but you also have to believe in yourself.
True. As a serial entrepreneur, like I just called out in the introduction of yours, how has your mindset changed? Like from your first venture to the most recent ones.
Yeah, I think the biggest mindset change has been that I can do it. What I mean by that is when I was working in my first startup, even as an employee, I would get like some targets to achieve. Let's say, let's do, you know, $1 million worth of sales, right? And I'm like, I'll be scared, that how can I make it happen, right? And then I am grateful that I worked with such amazing people who had the attitude that they can make it happen, and I absorbed that
Hmm.
attitude,
Hmm.
learned from them. And nowadays, if people come to me and say, okay, can you make this happen, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, like, you know.
Even back in your head, it's going, no, I can't, I'm not able to, how will I be able to? But like right up front, you're saying, yes, I can do it.
Yeah, I
Is
can do
that the
it.
mindset that has changed?
No, I think even on in my back of my mind, I'm like,
It
yeah, I
was,
can do it.
I can
Like
do
if
it.
I have the resources, I
Yeah.
can do it. It's
Yeah.
it's not a
Yeah.
problem.
Okay, so that is one mindset that has changed over the past works that you have done. Also, Ankit, I'll tell you, there are so many people who are chasing to, work very hard. They have different types of mindset, ideas, vision, but only 1% of the people are able to become successful only and only because they're putting their thoughts into actions.
Yep.
Is it true? Rest 99% of the people, they're just thinking and only thinking that maybe I'll be able to do it or I might not.
Yeah, I think humans in general are scared of failure, right?
Yes.
And like, let's say if you are given a task to, like I said, close $1 million in sales, right? You are already like looking at, okay, how do I close $1 million in sales? But instead of that, what you should do is, okay, how do I do like $10,000 in sale first, or even $1 in sales first?
Small steps.
Exactly. So just break it down and then just execute. Like you can have 10 different ideas, just execute, just don't sit. If you execute, you learn, and then you use that learning in your next execution, and like the process goes on,
Yeah.
right? And that's how you build that confidence. And like you were talking about, that you can just like portray fake confidence that I can do it.
They fake it till you make
Yeah,
it.
fake it till you make it. It's, I mean, there will be that process, but
Yeah.
you, during that process and like doing execution with that, even at the back of your mind, you'll be like, okay, no, I can do it.
Ah, right, right. So true, so true. That's one key takeaways that you can take from Ankit today. All right, moving on. So everyone talks about growth today, but what in your terms growth strong growth operators truly defines?
Yeah, I think it's two things.
Mm-mm.
One is obviously the execution bit that we spoke about, that's already
Yeah.
covered. You have
Yeah.
to execute, right? The second is you need to understand who you are selling to, or your customers, right? So basically, whoever you are selling to, maybe it's a business to business deal, or a business to government deal,
Consumers.
or business to consumer,
Yeah.
right? You need to be an expert. You need to become an expert. You won't be an
Become an
expert. You need to
expert.
become an
Yeah.
expert in understanding the
Yeah.
person that you are selling to, right?
Okay.
If you do both of these, if you start understanding your customers well, you will be able to do anything. So with growth, that is one thing that I see misses, people keep missing it. You're like, let's run some ads, let's do this, let's do some email campaigns, but let's try to understand
What
uh,
consumer
what
wants.
consumers want, or people that you are selling to
Yeah.
wants.
So, one very interesting question that is coming in my mind right now here is for everyone who's watching, of course, from your own experiences, like you've worked over a decade, so there must be some life experiences that has come like along the way. But for this, the matter of fact is, how do you become an expert in whatever you are doing?
Yeah, so it's a very nuanced question, right? So, like, you can never become an expert, let's be honest. Like, statistically, right, there will always be someone who will know
Better,
more
better
than
than you.
know better than you, right? What you can become is like really really good at it. Like, obviously people tell me that I'm an expert, but I am like, no, I'm not. There's so much to learn, especially with all the like advancements and like changes happening every day. But I think the key to becoming an expert is the ability to unlearn and learn.
Wow, that's something very interesting. हमने बहुत पहले पढ़ा था, but then in this process of becoming someone, we forget this the same line that you just said. At first, learn and then unlearn and then repeat that cycle.
Right. So to give you an example, right?
Yeah,
So
please.
when I started early, 10 years back, the way we would acquire customers for a company was way different. Now it's extremely different. So, 10 years back, what you'll do? You'll do some ads, you'll do some SEO, you'll do some email campaigns. That's it, right? Like broadly, you'll still do more stuff, but broadly, right? Now, like, you can do ads, but there is influencer marketing, right? There is a lot of like video content marketing going
Correct.
on, right?
Strategy
Strategy marketing
marketing.
is going on, like offline marketing. In India, you need to target college students, you need to target various different
Yeah,
segments,
there's
right?
also a word that people these days use, especially Gen Z's target audience.
Yeah.
Target your target audience.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So, target audience is basically like, what I was saying before is basically you need to know your target audience well.
So now let's talk about some global blockchain that you have worked with, Stellar and Core. But in this, what are your like biggest lessons founders can learn from scaling Web3 ecosystems globally?
Yeah. So, in Web3 ecosystem, scaling them globally is a big challenge. Even now, it's an industry which is evolving, right? The biggest learnings I would say is two things. One is you need to find the right people to work with, because when you're
Yes. Yeah.
expanding things globally,
Yeah.
it's extremely hard to find the right fit for
Your
your
projects.
needs,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So that is one thing that you need to figure out. Obviously, you'll make mistakes, but just keep learning and unlearning,
And then
right?
learning. Yeah.
Uh, and then the second is basically doing a lot of different experiments to figure out what's working, what's not. So what a lot of people do also in Web3 ecosystems is like there is a set template of things to do, and they'll just do it. And then if it doesn't work, they're like, okay, it's not working, right?
Yeah.
So you need to come up with new ideas, new ways, figure out again your
Figure
target
out.
audience,
Right.
right? And come up with new ways to get to them,
Yeah.
and just keep doing it. And I think if you keep doing it enough, you'll eventually figure it out.
Correct. Let's hop on to some challenges that you have faced, maybe while growing EduChain and not alone.
Oh, yeah, challenges. Too many challenges. Like, you have challenges every day, right? So let me give you an example, right? So when EduChain was born a few years back, we were trying to get developers to build products on top of it, right? So we were a new thing in the industry. We started running our own hackathons and like adoption plan, and we internally had a plan to like achieve big numbers, like to bring 10,000, 20,000 developers in a very short time, right? And then I was like, okay, I know I can do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, there will be challenges. Right.
Yes.
We went through modifying our strategy. We went through modifying our execution plan, and we also went through like changing a lot of partners who will help us to achieve our
That's
goals.
also part of building a brand
Yeah,
or
of
building an
course,
ecosystem,
of course.
changing partners
Yeah,
who
you
you have
have to.
started with.
Yeah, you have to. Like you have to. You have to
Figure
cut
it out.
things out if
Yeah.
they're not working for you, right?
Correct.
So, and those are like changing like partners that you start working with. Becomes like a very difficult
Changing
challenge.
the baseline of anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Change is the only constant, right? And to make that change happen is the biggest challenge. Biggest challenge.
Biggest challenge. So, any government schemes that you have recently worked with?
Yeah, so that was again one of my biggest
Biggest challenge.
challenges. But because in my past work, I had worked with governments, it was a little bit easier
Easy, on the easy side.
because I knew how to kind of speak the language, dress the way that government likes it. Like I'm coming from the startup world where, you go to the office in like a shorts, right? You can go.
That's a culture from Bangalore.
Right.
That's a culture from Bangalore that you're talking about, going
Yeah.
into shots, and that there's like no pressure world that they're living in right now,
Right.
unlike people here in Delhi.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I learned a lot of stuff like how to be like, more sophisticated. Yeah, more sophisticated, which I am not by any means, right? But yeah, coming back to the government side of things. So we've recently closed a partnership with the government of MP, where you are from.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so we are working with the government of MP to digitize 50 million credentials. By credentials, I mean education degrees, certificates, anything that is related to education, and bring it on chain and keep it digitized, safe and secure, tamper proof. So that's one thing that we have started working on.
And how is it going?
Pretty great. You will see more updates coming from our side pretty soon. And because of our work, we are also starting to have conversations with other governments, other universities as well.
It's gonna spread like a virus. So, like coming to this question, when you start with some company, or when you start with launching a product or scaling a brand whatsoever, what is most difficult? Like, is it like focus on product, or an adoption, or an availability? What is it?
The most difficult, I would say, is figuring out what to build and also figuring out what people need and then trying to marry it, right? So, right? So, like, you have product A that you thought that people need,
Yeah.
and then
Suddenly,
it's suddenly like, okay, I don't think this is what people need. So I need to know more what people need, and now I need to build something
another
else,
product.
right?
Yeah.
So which is like which is a constant challenge. People are like, oh, we were building this, now you want to build that. It's because it's not working.
Yeah.
Now you need to build something else. So figuring out the marrying of both worlds is the biggest problem.
Very nice. So, do you think that you will face, or your company or your team members are gonna face this challenge of accepting this edu chain? Like recently, I've worked with government of Madhya Pradesh. Do you think you're going to face that challenge with other states also?
Yeah, I mean, of course, there will be some teething issues in the beginning, but because we will have a track record, right? It makes things easier,
And
right?
also belief
Right. I mean,
what you're
more
building.
than more than belief, I think trust,
Yeah.
right? If you gain trust of governments, then all the people in the team are like, okay, this is what people need, and let's build it.
Let's go for it. Okay. So now this question coming to you, Mr. Ankit, is from the viewer's point of view. There's always a debate. Should founders focus first on product perfection or growth?
For product perfection, it's a clear answer. You do not need to focus on perfecting your product, right? You should never focus on that in the early days. Never, right? So that piece is taken care of. Now, when it comes to growth, right? Uh, the biggest mistakes that I see people doing is that they have a product and they want to achieve the perfection that they're like, I'm like, I want to be the perfectionist like Amir Khan
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Steve
Yeah. Yeah.
Jobs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like everyone wants to be Steve Jobs,
Yes.
right? And that's not possible. Due to that, what they will focus on, okay, let's build 100 features, 200 different things, and we will launch when everything comes together. Like they're
Yeah.
looking for a perfect time to
I get
launch
it.
and grow, right?
Yeah.
And you never will have a perfect time in your life. Like nobody has, right? So you need to be very fast at building what you want to build. Just build it in one day and take it to the customer, like take it to
Niche
your take
audience.
it to a
Yeah.
niche audience. Just try uh, seeing how that works. If you see that okay, people are liking it, people are buying that, people are engaging, then you start growing. Like start focus You can start focusing on growth from there, and then you also start focusing on product and make it more robust.
This should go like hand in hand. The growth and product perfection should go hand in hand. It should not be like one day the product is gonna go perfect and then I will launch it and then I will focus on growth. One day will never come.
I'm sure everyone watching this show would have heard one example, which I'm going to share. Is
Okay.
like, we have this thela wala in our town who was very poor. He started this thing, and now he's one of the richest guy in
Oh
the town,
yes.
right?
Especially with the tea.
With the tea, with momos, with
Maggie. Yeah,
Maggie
yeah, yeah.
noodles, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So because they started small, they were not waiting for the perfect day. They were like, okay,
Time.
whatever I have 10,000 rupees. I'll just put out a stall, see how it goes. Am I good at making this thing? And then like scale from there. It's common sense.
It's common sense, and common sense is no more common these days. Well, Mr. Ankit, it brings me to a point saying everyone, you, me, I, all of us are waiting for that perfect moment or that perfect time to start something. Like I said earlier, वो कभी time आता नहीं है, so वो कभी चीज शुरू नहीं हो पाती, and then we see other people, taking lead. So we should rather name this episode as figuring it out, right? Figure it out and start seeing like what is working out for you. Well said. Okay, moving on. So when startups try to expand globally, what are like the most common mistakes that you see founders making?
Couple of common mistakes. One is that they okay, if I have a company in India and I want to expand it to UAE, they'll be like, okay, I need a proof of uh, a proof that if I expand, I'll make profits. Like even before getting there,
Expanding, yeah,
even before
yeah.
getting there, you need to. They want to know all the answers, but the fact is, you will only get to know the answers if you go there, do some research, do some on ground stuff, right? So just start small. Like just go there, spend a week, see if it's worth it, and then go from there, right? And a lot of people who have money, like there are all kinds of people. There
Yeah,
is
yeah,
one
I get it.
who will be like, no, I need to be very, very sure that this is gonna work. And there'll be the second guy who has a lot of money. They're like, okay, just
Let's go.
let's just go,
Let's
right?
go.
Even without doing
Research and taking an
research, right,
insight. Yeah, yeah.
right, right, speaking to people and figuring it out. But I think the situation is improving, right? So I live in Dubai, and I get approached by a lot of people to get on a call and get the understanding of the market, which is a good sign, right? But if you have money, you need to figure out a hacky way to get validation from that market, right? And then you expand.
Correct, correct. So just not wasting a lot of time in research, not wasting a lot of time in taking an insight, taking a review from the audience. Instead, just gonna go there, do some little bit of research. At least you're like cold minded and you just have no thoughts in your mind. But just go figure it out, see what is working. If it's not, come back.
Yeah, of course. And like in today's world, right? you can find so much information, you can connect to so many people to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
the insight, right?
yeah.
So
Comparatively, back in when you have started, I think
yeah,
there was no
yeah,
information
yeah, there was,
online.
I mean, there was limited information,
Little
limited
little
information. Yeah,
information. Right now we can, keep 2 3 platforms, and we can ask the web browser itself ki
right,
compare what's
right.
gonna
Yeah,
work.
I mean, it's like just a chat GPT of it.
I did not want you to take that name, but I see. Okay, so how is market different? If there's any startup founder who's listening, who's watching this video, wanting to expand here in India,
Mhm.
likewise also wanting to expand there in Dubai, like you come from, or you have shifted to now, how is market different?
When you compare India to Dubai, I think, market is a bit similar, I would say, because a lot of Indians in Dubai, right?
Yeah,
And they are
yeah,
your prime
yeah,
customers. But generally speaking, right,
yeah.
uh, every market has a cultural and behavioral aspect that you need to know whether or not you want to do business there. You
Yeah.
need to know uh, because if you, for example, right, if you go to the US, right, a lot of people, all the apps, everything, most of the things run on email, right? So you just have to do a email login,
Yeah.
right? I mean, phone login and all of phone number login has also come up. But if you're in India, you just use phone numbers, which is a very different, like a person coming from US to India, like phone numbers, like, how do I work with it? And
Correct.
and Indian people going to US and like emails, how do I work with it, right?
Correct. Correct.
So there are always these behavioral standards
Standards and
in
stats.
every country that you need to understand.
Mm. And once you know, you have an idea of how people are behaving or how the culture is operating there, then the life little becomes easy. So anywhere, like you wanna say, start from anywhere in the world you want to, just know what is your product and what is the audience.
Yeah, know your product, know your audience. I think,
You're good to go.
yeah, I mean, if you know both of these, I'm sure you're smart enough to figure other things on your own.
Absolutely. For anyone, for young startups, who entering tech or Web3 today, so what should be their first top 3 priorities in the first initial year of business?
Okay, first thing is don't die.
Of
Don't
course,
die. I mean,
I get
not as
it.
a person,
Of
but
course, the
but
business should not
but
collapse.
business should not die, right? So you should be very frugal and very mindful of where you're spending money, right? Second, you need to be very experimental, right? That, you know, keep doing on the experiments to do the marriage that I was
I
talking
get
about,
it. Yeah.
right? And then, uh, you know, third, you also need to kind of a lot of times take a leap of faith, right? Uh, because people are always looking for that perfect validation from everywhere. So even if you have some validation and a lot of things are unclear, just take that leap of faith, try to scale it, try to grow it, and I think you will be able to make it.
We had a conversation about EduChain and not alone behind the camera. Now I want you to put some facts and figures in front of the camera and let people know what exactly these things are all about.
Yeah, so EduChain is a blockchain powered tech platform which stores digital credentials, which means like degrees, right,
Ah,
in a secure and
somewhere like DigiLocker?
you can,
Hmm?
yes, right. So pretty close,
Pretty close.
right? So I mean, something like that, right? And what we want to do, and what I personally want to do, is uh, make sure that the challenges that I have faced in my own journey as a student, nobody else should face when it comes to be able to learn from the best people, to be able to get mentorship from the best people, to
Yeah.
be able to get access to
Yeah.
the best opportunities, to be able to get access to good uh, lending or finance related stuff, because you need all of that to be successful in
Of
life,
course,
right?
of
So
course.
that's what we're trying to do at EduChain. That's our whole mission. And we obviously will end up working with a lot of governments, a lot of universities, a lot of different employers to make it happen, and of course, like students.
Students basically are making their life easy and not let them face what you have faced in your early childhood. Yeah. Okay, we have come to the end of a conversation, though I don't want to, but we are very, like, right now strict with time. So, my last question to you would be, in such fast paced and high pressure environments, very good question. How do you manage focus? How do you manage decision making? And how do you manage burnout?
Okay, I'll be honest. I'm
Please
still,
be,
I'm,
please
I'm
be.
still, I'm still learning and
Yeah,
unlearning how to
yeah,
manage,
yeah.
stress, schedule, decision making, right? I think the key learning for me, or mantra, I can be a guru
Yeah,
for
why not?
this, but the key mantra here would be to be able to zoom out and think about things very objectively, at least every week. Basically, as a startup founder or somebody who's doing like global stuff, or anyone who's working, right? They have tons of things to do, right?
Yeah, a
And their
lot. Yeah.
minds are full, like, their
ये भी
to-dos are full, their, you
yeah,
know
ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है, वो भी करना
correct,
है, yeah.
correct, right? I have made it a practice to make sure that every week I make a list of things. I just keep myself distraction free for just 1 hour. It can be on any day, like, and you just sit with your thoughts, and, let's say maybe the notes that you have, and say, okay, what are just 2 or 3 things that I can do in next week, right, which will push things forward, right? And if you're able to just keep that in mind, and then automatically all the things that you do during the next week or next to next week will fall in line, right?
So beautifully you have elaborated. This is called reflection.
Okay.
Like, now why I know this and why I will relate to what you have rightly said here, and it is very important to keep a reflection on what you have done in your past few days. How we do it in a year, when new year changes and suddenly we get to like, अच्छा साल बदलने वाला है, हमें भी बदलना है. So we reflect, we make our vision board, we see to do's for the next year. This is what you're doing every week,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this is how it is keeping you focused and on track.
Yeah. And, like, you can just start with even a 5 minute schedule, right?
5 minutes.
Yeah, like, just sit on a Sunday or Saturday, just take 5 minutes out,
Yeah.
right? And just sit, like, okay, what should I do realistically?
Yeah.
Like, just 3 items for
Huh.
next week, and then,
Huh. Now people are gonna hear say, "Oh, I'm very busy. I don't get it, sir." He is sitting right in front of me. If he is saying it that he's able to take out like 5 minutes of his time, you can.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, 5 minutes is just like not watching a reel,
Yeah, that's it.
not watching
That's
a
it.
reel for like
That's it.
5 minutes.
100%, 100%. Well, that was a fantastic conversation with you, Mr. Ankit Raj. Well, I had a great time. And of course, for all the viewers who've been watching, who've been waiting for this episode, the founders who've been like wanting to know the real insights, real algorithm, how industry leaders work, they have rightly got it. So I will not be the due to you. I will not be the due to all my audience. This was your host, Shifta Khan, and I will see you until next time. Now, before leaving, just I would say take one day at a time. Thank you.